And we're sticking with the cell phone theme for our parenting SOS topic on this Friday. This is really a danger for many families and kids. We're talking about cyberbullying. Once your kid has a cell phone, how do you protect them from being cyberbullied or cyberbullying other kids, of course? To join us with some advice on this very topic is Beth Ann Steele with the Portland office of the FBI. Beth Ann, this is a concern of mine. My kids are 10 years old, just started 4th grade. They don't have cell phones yet. I'm hoping to keep that alive for another 10 years.
I know, I'm with you. I have a 10-year-old too, and she knows that the iPhone 8 is coming out today, and she tried to convince her dad that that meant that she could then get his old phone.
See, I think maybe girls are a little ahead of boys. Maybe that's still the case because I don't think our guys even know what an iPhone 6, 7, or 8 is. And I'm hoping that it stays that way. But obviously kids do have cell phones in hand now, and some of them are in only 3rd or 4th or 5th grade. So how do we start to protect our kids from the cyberbullying issue? Is there a number one, first thing you got to do is blank? Well,
the absolute overriding thing that parents need to do is have a conversation with their kids. Because these kids, if they're old enough to hold this phone, this is a gateway. If they're old enough to hold that phone and take it, then they are old enough to have that conversation with you about the dangers that come with that and the responsibilities that come with that. What do they need to do and what should they be watching out for? And if you have that relationship as a parent and a child, then they can come to you with any concerns, any problems, and that is your number one line of defense, is having that relationship with them.
Beyond the conversation, you know, what sort of actions can we take? And we always talk on this show, it seems, about not being a helicopter parent. Darn it, I say when it comes to cyberbullying, get on the helicopter.
I will tell you to be a total helicopter parent, because you pay for this phone. It is your responsibility what happens on this phone. And we want kids to grow up and be independent and have some privacy. But what can happen on this phone is really can affect the child for their entire life.
So we're talking about checking security settings, right?
Right. So the number one thing is check the privacy and security settings. Make sure they are up to date on a regular basis. Those settings change constantly. So even though you may change it on a particular app or on the device itself, be sure to keep up to date and check them.
It's not just the cell phone. I mean, there's other devices that we have to keep our eyes on, right?
Right. So you take your cell phone away, your kid's in his room playing on his iPad, right? He can text from his iPad. He can do all kinds of things from a laptop or a friend's computer. So just keep up to date as much as you can with those devices.
Sometimes they think they're being funny. They have these usernames or these passwords that they think are funny but can be really dangerous or harmful.
Right. So first of all, you should know every kid's password to every device, how to get into the device and the apps, because it is your responsibility to check those. Second of all, in terms of making sure that they choose appropriate screen names, language, and photos. Sweet 16 sounds all nice and cute, and to us it may sound innocent. To a predator, it is an open invitation. In terms of language, make sure your kids are using proper language that they would use in front of, you know, if they were face-to-face with somebody. So if I'm talking to you, am I going to call you all kinds of dirty names and that kind of thing? No. Same thing with photos. One sexually explicit photo can ruin a child's life. I tell parents to imagine and to tell their kids to imagine that if they put that photo, that text, that message up on a billboard outside their school and outside their home, how many hundreds of thousands of people can see that in an instant? That's what they should be thinking every time they hit send on a photo or an image or a text. Is
it realistic to keep this behavior from a parenting standpoint going into the later years of high school? You know, 16, 17, making sure that you still have your kids' passwords? I mean, I think that's really still the only way to combat this.
I think you should try. And I think that conversation starts in 3rd or 4th grade when they start having these devices and they have the ability to make those decisions. We may not think that a 3rd grader is able to make those decisions. We know sometimes that a 16 and 17-year-old can't make good decisions. So it's really up to setting that relationship up early and keeping it going, having that honest relationship.
Beth Ann, I appreciate all the advice today because it's definitely a topic that enters a lot of our viewers' homes. I actually have a nephew. I don't know how his mom did this. I had to give his mom, Tanya, credit. Didn't give him a cell phone until he was 16. I mean, this kid was obviously begging, pleading, hoping.
She's an angel.
Yeah, cool kid, very popular at school, did not have that cell phone at 16. I think that kept him actually out of a lot of trouble. So thank you for your advice very much today.